Heartbreak Boys road trip, and I'm still in the good old UK, but this time I've travelled down to Atlanta, where I've met the wonderful Julian Winters. Hello.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So excited to be here, round the virtual campfire. I'm asking every author I meet to bring something along to this little camp event. What treats have you got for us, Julian?
I have brought my favorite writing and before bed treat, which is a cup of tea.
No,
I know, right? The nerve.
Julian, it is a brave American indeed who brings tea to an event hosted by a Brit. Dare I ask, I don't suppose we can just kind of get a little look at the tea, can we at all?
I want to show you, but I don't want you to judge the color of my tea. Let's see if I can get it without it spilling over.
Yes, I think I can just about see.
Good, just about good for you.
That's what you're going to show me. It doesn't look like it's too weak and insipid. It looks like it's got a bit of, robustness to it. So better than I was expecting, Julian.
Thank you.
Julian, tell us about your latest YA release, The Summer of Everything.
Yes, that's one of the reasons I'm drinking tea is to show my love for my main character in the book for Summer of Everything. It is a story about a comic book geek by the name of Wes Hudson, who lives out in Santa Monica, California. Beautiful setting, and he's just graduated high school. He's in that summer between high school and going to college, university, and the only plan he has is to kick back at his job at an independent bookstore called Once Upon a Page with his teen friends, and also to finally confess his feelings for his best friend Nico before they go their separate ways to different colleges in September. And all of that gets thrown into the fire when he finds out that a coffee shop is buying the property that the independent bookstore currently owns and will be shutting down the bookstore. So being the bookstore is his childhood second home, he now has to spend the summer with his teen coworkers trying to save the bookstore before it gets shut down. And they get into all kinds of crazy ideas of how they can raise money to save the bookstore. I don't even want to list some of the ideas, but it's basically a rom-com book about what it's like to transition from high school to going to that next step of adulthood, and how do we deal with that, and also obviously about the joys and tragedies of having a best friend crush.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And of course, it's right at my street because it sounds like it's funny, it's a rom-com, and it's full of joy, which is exactly the sort of book that I enjoy both writing and reading myself. But what is it about kind of joyful books that does it for you, Julian? Because all of your books, Running with Lions, Remy Cameron, they all have, I feel like, joy at their hearts.
Yeah. I think because I spent so much of my teen years being filled with dread and anger or sadness, just because it was just really hard to not only find myself in books and media and things like that, but obviously just existing in the world as, I was closeted as a teen, so that was hard. Growing up being, a Black teen was difficult in some spaces. So I've always just made this point, like, I've already lived these tragedies. Why not write about things that are joyful? Just as a reminder, because I think things have changed from when I was a teen to now, but they haven't drastically changed where the world's all sunshine and rainbows. And I think, a lot of teens need that. They need to be reminded that their life can be complicated, can be complex, but still filled with joyful moments and goofy moments and things like that.
Oh, I completely agree, and that's exactly the reason why I write those sort of books as well, and those sorts of stories. I want those kids to see that life can be full of fun for them as well. And the reception that those books tend to get always seems to be really great as well, and people appreciate it. I'm wondering how like rom-coms and funny books are kind of are sort of taken in the US, because like here in the UK, I feel like they're popular, people want them. I know that when I go into schools, teenagers love reading them. But often I feel like they are a little bit underappreciated sometimes. Like, for example, over here, it would be quite unusual, quite rare, very rare, really, to see a funny book or a rom-com on one of the big kind of shortlists for one of the big prizes for kid lit or YA fiction. What's it like over there in the US in terms of that sort of thing?
Same. It's exactly the same. There are the occasional ones that'll make it onto lists for awards and stuff like that. I mean, it really, if it's like the really big, we stamp your book cover with this silver or gold sticker, then I find it very rare that it's gonna happen with rom-coms or comedies or something that's lighthearted. If it's like this, I've got a lot of nominations and even one award for like Running with Lions from the smaller award committees, and I appreciate that. I think they really do have a different kind of lens on how they look at books. They're looking at just the overall book, not necessarily is the theme serious enough where it's like we've got to give this award to it and whatnot. So it's about the same here.
It's kind of frustrating, isn't it? Because I've always felt that actually comedy can be a great way into talking about other kinds of stuff that some people find it difficult to talk about, or even sometimes don't want to hear if they feel like you're preaching to them about something. But actually through the lens of some jokes or something funny or a lot more lighthearted, it can be a much easier kind of transition into that subject matter for a lot of people. So I think comedy is really powerful.
Yeah. I completely agree. And that's what I love about, our books is that, yes, they have humor. They have, our main characters literally falling on their faces. But we do dive into some pretty serious topics, but just not in a way where it's just in your face, like you said, here's the message slapped, on your forehead, there you go, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, you look at the, even just like with the Noah series and the things that you deal with parents, with grief, with breakups, with friendships, all these different things, with just being gay and whatnot, but we don't do it in a way where it's like, okay, our main characters have to be harmed or they have to, go through some very traumatic experience. It does not invalidate the experiences that they do have just because there's humor and, swoon-worthy moments in there too.
And also, Julian, I think, I don't want to completely blow our own trumpets here, but writing rom-com stuff is actually quite difficult. I mean, jokes are hard, funny characters are hard. And also, I don't know about you, but if I'm writing a romantic scene, I'm always terrified that it's going to be some kind of terrible sort of thing that's going to end up on one of those lists of bad sex scenes in fiction. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do every time. I'm like, do I need to pull back a little? Is this too sugary? Is this no? I definitely agree. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not easy to write jokes, and then for the joke, because we know how long publishing takes, for that joke to still be current and relevant by the time the book comes out, you're just like, oh no, I probably need to take this out. So yeah, it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do at all.
Julian, over here in the UK, a lot of our kind of big releases each year will be US authors, and there's often quite a lot of buzz around these books. And I think I would say, quite a lot of people over here are, they're quite in love with the whole sort of American high school coming of age experience. And of course, it's featured in so many movies and on television a lot. It's kind of culturally ingrained even here as much as it is over with you guys, I think. But I just wondered, do you see much British YA or kid fiction over there in America? Does it get much buzz? Do you see it on the shelves much in terms of in bookshops and things? I just wondered if it's in any cases the same at all.
It is and isn't. And this goes back to our earlier conversation. If it is a big book that deals with a big subject matter or something that is, like we said, shortlisted for awards, then yes, I will see it. I'm so happy because I've gotten to see like The Black Flamingo and All Boys Aren't Blue and stuff like that. I'm so happy to see those on shelves. But I would love to see more books from the UK on shelves, especially books like yours and whatnot that are just lighthearted comedies, because those, like, had I not, I don't even remember how I felt. I think it was on Twitter. Had I not fallen upon Noah on Twitter, then I feel like my life would have been empty, because it just wasn't enough buzz. But reading that, I mean, just reading the summary and then reading the book, they both go together so perfectly. And I think, we could do better in the US about talking up those books just as much as we talk about our own rom-coms and things like that.
Oh, that's interesting. It's interesting to know. And imagine if you hadn't stumbled upon it, we may not be talking now.
I know, right?
I mean,
Terrible.
all these little chances and things that have happened along the way. Julian, it has been awesome talking to you. I have to wrap it up now because I need to hit the road and get on with my road trip. But the big question is, can you tell me where I'm heading next?
Yes, I certainly can. You'll be happy to know that you are going back to the UK.
Ooh, okay, yes.
Yes, you get to go back to the UK, and you're going to a wonderful place called Skegness. I hope I said that right.
You did. Done.
Yes. And you'll be chatting with one person that I absolutely adore online, which is William Husson. So you get to look forward to that. I'm looking forward to it already. Julian, it's been awesome chatting to you. Thank you so much for having me here in Atlanta. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad we got to finally do this. I will see you very soon. Bye.